Final thing I wanted to say, like just going back to the Levi thing. I don't know, like, can you guys remember another 7th round pick who got this much hype? Like, I've never understood it from the very start. He was picked in the 7th round, Devon Levi.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, was thrown in to that Reinhardt trade as like an extra, like a prospect. I know he had 2 good seasons in college, but I never understood the hype. I look at guys like Sebastian Casa, Jesper Wallstedt, like some good young goalies who were picked in the 1st round who are still not consistently playing NHL games. So I just never understood what the rush was to get him in and all the hype surrounding him. I don't know, Harper, can you maybe do you have an answer to that? Or am I just like totally misreading the player, or like what exactly is going on?
Well, look, his last 3 or 4 years have been have been excellent, and I just think with the way that he is technically, and just the way he thinks and trains and everything, like there is a lot. Hold on. Let me stop you. The way he thinks and trains and stuff. Like, I've seen so many videos about that, how he thinks and trains, and like, he idolized Carey Price growing up, and like he thinks he's a Jedi and that kind of stuff. And it's like, but like, there's so much coverage of him in the first place. Of course, we're all going to see that. I just don't understand it. I don't get why there's so much coverage of him and hype.
It was his World Juniors.
He
went from junior A to winning the World Juniors.
I know. It was a crazy jump, but like, if he never makes it as an NHL starter, I don't think that's you. I don't think that you can be disappointed. Like, is that crazy to say?
I think it would be disappointing now because he's had a great World Juniors and then great college numbers, and everything is pointing towards him being good. So I would say so. Yeah.
I just think the pressure on that kid has to be astronomical. Essentially, come in, save this franchise who hasn't had a good goalie since Ryan Miller. Sorry, go ahead, Keith.
Sorry, I've been searching on the side to try to answer Chad's question about 7th round goalie picks and hype, and he's a hypocrite, is what I've learned, because Garrett Sparks.
Yeah,
Garrett Sparks won AHL Goalie of the Year and a Calder Cup,
and he was a 7th round pick.
But
he goalie proved with that much hype,
playing pro hockey, that he could dominate
the AHL on the best AHL team in the league.
Won a Calder Cup and goalie
Devon
of the
Levi's
year.
going to do that this year.
Maybe he will, but like, just do you understand my point? Though it wasn't that disappointing that Garrett Sparks never made it as a starter because he was picked in the 7th round. Who cares?
I don't know that that's true. I think everyone was pretty disappointed when Garrett Sparks didn't make it.
Well, yeah, because they had to give away Curtis McElhaney and Calvin Pickard. But
I just think that I know what you're saying, Chad. I do.
I just don't understand the hype. Like, leave the kid alone, let him dominate, and then he'll come to the NHL and eventually be good.
I think the hype came from the World Juniors in a sample size last year. I'm not saying it should be there. I'm just saying.
His last couple of years at Northeastern, so it was warranted coming in. But look, I don't think. Obviously I'm biased, but I just don't see the fall off there like we've seen with other players coming in from college, like Jimmy Vesey, for example. All the hype around him, Will Butcher. Like guys like that who came in with a ton of hype. Scott Perunovich in St. Louis, there was a lot of hype around him, but we really haven't seen a ton of them. So look,
I'm not even like predicting a fall off. I'm just saying.
No, I know.
It seems unfair to put that much hype and pressure on a kid who literally almost didn't even get drafted. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into his draft position because, like, I know he's been good over the past few years, but to me, it seems odd that everyone is putting so much stock into this kid who.
Well, it's because Buffalo, like it's because of the playoff drought and you know, it's been so long and selling hope and all of that. So, but I think that, you know, maybe they recognize that in a way, can't rush this kid, and now is going to get an opportunity to go and dominate down in Rochester. But look, I mean, I totally understand he is not on the same level by any means as, you know, some of the guys that you mentioned, a Wallstead, a Skarov, Dustin Wolf, for God's sakes. I mean, how unbelievable is that guy? But yeah, I obviously am a little bit biased, but I see a bright future for this kid for sure. And again, good move to send him down finally, because it's not like this is ruined. There is plenty of runway here for him to get his game back, find his confidence, and be a good goaltender for us in the future. So,
yes, that is more talk about Devon Levi than I anticipated in this episode.
And also, we can't, you know, all picks and all rounds of the draft, they matter. So we can't put too much into who was a 7th rounder and who was this and who was that.
I think they matter even less when they're goalies. Like, it doesn't matter when you draft a goalie, because you never know when a Yossi Saros is going to come out in the 4th round. Or
that's true.
Right.
What about UPL 2nd rounder who, you know, they had in their system forever, and I feel like he didn't get the same hype, or maybe he did, but it's just past now.
I remember him getting the hype. I thought he was going to be the next thing for 4 years in a row. That's why I think he's like 28 years old at this point, but he's still young.
Jesus, he's what, like 20, 24?
Yeah.
It's taken a while for him. I even remember, like, you know, before last season or whatever, like, just like, you know, when are we going to see this kid come up? Because, the
high elite potential in 2019 or whatever it was.
Okay, I do remember that, playing the NHL games, and he's like 95 overall for no reason.
And keep in mind too, I think part of this whole thing is that Levi is very much that is Kevin Adams. That is a Kevin Adams pick, not a draft pick, but, like, you know, they coveted him, and he was high on him when they acquired him in the Reinhart deal. UPL, that was Botterill's guy. Botterill saw UPL as the future netminder of the Buffalo Sabres, and
he's been their best guy this year.
Yeah, so, and what we're continuing to see is that a lot of Botterill's picks and bets turned out to be good ones.